Welcome to the movies. Welcome to the stars. Welcome to this grand illusion. All of it's yours right through these doors. Every plot's a dilly. This we guarantee. Welcome to the movies. Wait and see.
Welcome to the Donnie Movie Time Show. I'm your host, Donnie Movie Time, and here with me now is Donnie De Palma.
My name's not Tony, and why am I tied to this fucking chair?
Because, Tony, you're supposed to be doing the podcast with me.
Dude, this shit is getting out of hand. I come over here and you tie me up, and it got really weird because last time the stuff with you and Johnny, he accused me of some really gross, sick, ugly, disgusting shit because apparently you kept him in the basement and played Saw games with him. He showed me the tape. He showed me the tape.
He wanted to do it.
And now you've got me tied to this chair.
He wanted to do it.
I didn't realize that this feud between you guys had escalated to this level, and I'm just caught between. I just want to co-host the damn show.
Where's that syringe?
I just want to talk about movies.
Hold on. Where's that syringe?
And you guys have to fight.
Here it is.
And you're kidnapping. Hi, and I am your co-host Toby De Palma.
Hi, Toby. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Donnie. How are you?
I'm great. So we just got back from seeing a really dumb but fun movie.
Yeah, we did. Where am I?
You're in my garage.
Oh, right. Yeah, we saw a movie today.
Yeah, we did. So yeah, when I was growing up, when you were growing up, there was a TV show on a cartoon, I should say, cartoon that we both probably watched and really enjoyed, and it involved teenagers, it involved mutants, and it involved ninjas.
Yeah.
It involved ninjas.
Oh, the other one.
Yeah, and it involved mutants and ninjas, and there were turtles.
Yeah. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
It was an awesome show.
It was.
Awesome show.
It was the best. Pizza and cowabunga and surfing.
All that good stuff.
I'm thinking of surf ninjas.
What was your favorite part about Ninja Turtles?
About surf ninjas?
Ninja Turtles, not surf ninjas.
Oh, okay, yeah. So
yes.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows.
Yes.
The second one, the sequel.
That's what we're talking about.
What was my favorite part?
Oh, I mean, sorry, Turtles in general, not the movie itself.
We're talking about the cartoon.
Yes, just the cartoon.
I'm a little lightheaded. Oh, man. What? Am I hungover?
Take another sip of that drink.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, my favorite part of the cartoon growing up was, I don't know that I had a particular favorite part. I was always a big fan of Bebop and Rocksteady, but it was just these four immature ninja pizza loving teenage crime fighting brothers. They were just fun characters.
I liked how it was like it was a revenge tale in disguise. You know how you had like Splinter had this like whole revenge thing between Splinter and Shredder, and I really liked that about the Turtles.
Right.
So when I saw the first movie that came out like 2 years ago, because we were talking about this, like there's no way that movie came out 2 years ago. I'm like, yeah, it came out. Last one came out like 2 years ago.
I feel like it came out a long time ago. But, they kept trying to restart because they had that TMNT, and then that didn't really go anywhere.
But the last movie, that was not my favorite movie that summer. I was really pissed off about that movie.
Everyone said it wasn't good. And, I mean, I don't know why I didn't rush to go see it because, I guess sometimes to my discredit, according to some people, my love of, Transformers.
Yeah.
And for better or worse, I'm always going to enjoy those movies just because I love Transformers. I always have.
Yeah.
Even when the movies aren't good, and I will admit it. But I should have probably been more excited about Turtles, but I heard just such overwhelmingly negative things that I kind of skipped it. A friend of mine, we were hanging out one night, within the past year, like several months ago, and like made me watch it, and or suggested we watch it. So we put it in and I checked it out, and I really was surprised that I don't know if my expectations had gone down so low that I really enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. It's not a great movie, but everybody had talked so much shit about it that I actually was able to enjoy, it for what it was.
Yeah.
I know I get annoyed a lot of times when people say that because I think movies should be challenging and an engaging, like interactive experience and like make you kind of like
you like
look
leave
at
the
yourself
and you think about it.
and you're thinking about it. But this really is the epitome of, or at least the first one was, of like, just turn your brain off and check it at the door and have fun, which is a really bad thing. But in that case,
think
it was kind of a good thing.
Yeah, well, the first one for me was like, I guess I can see where it's like turn your brain off, just have fun. But the first one for me, it was like it was so apologetic of the original like the original Turtles, the original canon, even from like the comic books, like making Splinter, like learn all of his martial arts from a book instead of like the whole Master Yoshi, and any of that stuff was taken out, which really made me mad about the first one. And it
felt a little ham-fisted, and it felt forced and rushed, and like it felt like Turtles light.
Yeah, and it was like I also didn't like, and then you and I talked about this as we were leaving the theater on this one. It was that like, you love the Transformers movie, but one of my problems with them is that they spend so much time with the human characters. It's like, oh, well, we have to have a star for these movies, or else these movies aren't going to work. People aren't going to want to see them. So you have to sit there and watch, Shia LaBeouf or Marky Mark or Megan Fox or whatever. And I felt like they did that a lot in the first Turtles movie, where it was like, oh, you're following April O'Neil for the majority of the movie,
Yeah,
and it's
then
more
just
about
a
her.
little bit of Turtle.
Yeah, and it's like the Turtles are there, but they're kind of like these characters she meets, and they're not like the main characters. But like flipping to that, like let's talk about the actual movie. That was like the thing that I enjoyed about this one a lot.
The first damn shot was the Turtles like sliding off of a building, to pick up a pizza, which I actually thought that was a really awesome opening sequence. Just them trying to get to the basketball game and everything. It's like that was fun, and that took me back to, I was like, this is the cartoon.
Yes,
it's dumb and it's stupid and it's like really like childlike sophomoric dialogue, but so was the cartoon.
Yeah,
it's like, and that was one of the things I noticed was the Transformers movies. I kind of feel like they try to do, they're longer, and I feel like they're trying to make Transformers movies for those of us like in our 30s or something that grew up with them, where they're like it's like this is a kids thing, but they're trying to make it more adult and serious and dramatic and like really heavy-handed. And Turtles, they were like, let's make this for 10-year-olds.
Oh yeah,
and this felt more like, as opposed to a kid's property that's like an adult action movie, this felt more like just a fun kids movie. Because honestly, like that was light for a PG-13. I mean, it was violent, but it was very tame, and
it's weird you say that, because you remember like the 90s, like 1990, the first Turtles movie that ever came out, like it was live action and the Jim Henson suits, and it like,
and they were
in my opinion it still holds up, but it was darker.
1 and 2, it was weird because like 1 and 2 there were a few differences here. 1 and 2 of the original ones from back in the day were dark.
Yeah,
I thought, and I remember it was one of those where they felt.
We're outside, by the way. That's why you keep hearing those noises.
Why am I tied to this chair?
Hold on.
Okay.
So
anyway,
what were you saying?
Well, yeah, I was saying. I don't know what happened there. I was saying that I think how dark the original ones were, like the live action ones, like it was kind of cool. I was fine with it.
It was cool. It was like
because the
Turtles
comic
for
books were
adults.
like really violent and everything, and then they made it into a kids cartoon and everything and toy line. But they were. It's weird to see that this went the opposite way of a lot of things, because you look at like the old like Batman, Superman, and everything. It's like now they're really dark and adult oriented and violent and like way hyper violent,
because they came from like the Adam West Batman. They're trying to
they
not
went from
do that.
Campy and goofy and like childlike. This felt like it was going the opposite way. They just kind of re-injected the fun, and it felt like a really faithful adaptation of the cartoon. And I, like you, was pretty amazed at how balanced it was. We just spent basically most of it was like a video game cutscene. We were spending time with the Turtles, like as opposed to Transformers.
But it felt real, and it felt like you were in the sets and stuff. Like it didn't feel like I was watching all video game cutscenes.
No, not like that Warcraft trailer or whatever they played before. But like you had. I mean, you've got Will Arnett, you've got Megan Fox, and whoever it was that was playing Casey Jones and everything, which that did feel a little forced and like unnecessary to me. But we had human characters that we spent a little bit of time with, but it was mostly with CG characters that we want to see. Like we want to see the Turtles, we want to see Bebop and Rocksteady, which we should definitely talk about in a minute. But like I think it was balanced much better than say. That's what people want out of the Transformers movies. Like you said, you just want to spend time with the Transformers.
Like I think the one thing was like the first movie. There's that one scene in the very first movie that they did that this is a sequel to, is where like they're in the elevator and they're all like playing that beat. And I remember a lot of reviews saying like that was the best part of the movie. Yeah. And I felt like
riffing off each other.
Yeah, they kind of riffing off each other, and I felt like they wanted to do that a lot more in this movie. And I think. Some people would say, well, that's kind of dumb. Because we should also talk about how dumb this movie is as well, even though it is so much fun. But, like, the fact that they were, like, they spent more time with those characters. I wish they maybe did a little bit more with their arcs, but I did like how it was more about how like the title of the movie is called like Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows, being about how like they're always stuck in underground. They're the unsung heroes, and like how they have to deal with that. And that's kind of like their main kind of arc through this movie. And I don't think it's bad, but I think like they might have could have done better with it. But I did enjoy that they gave them more of an arc and they focused so much more time with the turtles.
Well, there was that whole like the heart of the movie was the whole deal with Michelangelo and Raphael, like Mikey and Raffi wanting to, not be looked at as freaks. And I actually thought there was kind of interesting, like they were kind of bringing up the social commentary of people that are different, from like, how you present, like, if you dress and look different, or actually, in a weird way, I kind of thought it was almost like a racial commentary.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I'm
it was
that,
racial commentary light,
Right. Well, I'm just saying, like, in a clever way, because that bit where Michelangelo, he's like, when they encountered humans, he said they weren't just afraid. There was genuine hate in their eyes, like, and that like really affected him. Like him and Raphael just wanted to kind of be accepted. They didn't want to hide, and they find that ooze in this movie that it turns humans into mutants, and it can turn mutants back into humans supposedly. So like they think that they might have an opportunity to be human and be normal looking and just like embraced by what society expects you to look like. And I thought that was kind of endearing. I did feel. How did you feel about the divide? We're kind of getting into mild spoiler territory, I guess. But
I figured out this is all spoilers anyway.
The divide with Leo wanting them.
I thought like that was the other story.
He got mad and sort of like, the only opinion that matters in this team is me. And did you feel like that was kind of abrupt? Him like
I felt like
pulling a power struggle, and
I felt like they were trying to do multiple. Like I feel like any movie, like you're always gonna have your A story, B story, C story, right? Well, this one was like they were trying to do like an A and B story for the turtles, and then have like another A and B story for the human characters like Casey Jones and April O'Neil and stuff. So, but I get what you're saying. It's like they didn't focus. They had two stories going on, and like the whole leadership story, I think, was a little more personal with Leo trying to like wrap the team together, trying to figure out like, well, we know like everyone's like you're the strategist, you're the hearts of the team, and like you're the brains of the team, but it's like trying to get everybody together on the same page. I felt like I agree like that was kind of forced, and I felt like. To me, like they're trying to do a more adult storyline with some of this stuff, but it doesn't really. It just feels a little forced and trite a little bit at times. But even then, it's like after they don't spend too much time on it, and then it's just kind of just peppered in, kind of more like just more like a Saturday morning cartoon type thing. Yeah,
but I mean, it felt like the storylines worked. It felt like they were trying to do a little too much too fast. Because I mean, here's the thing: I actually thought the movie was a little. Quicker was shorter than what it is.
Yeah,
it was like it felt like it was
a 93-minute movie.
It was an hour and 52 minutes.
Okay,
it was 112 minutes, but it felt like it was like an 80 or 90-minute movie. Like it flew by, as opposed to like a lot of people complain about how like the last Transformers was like 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Yeah,
like this was rather than stretching things out, it felt like they tried to do like a lot really quick.
Yeah,
and anytime they try to get dramatic or put like a lot of those. Heartfelt arcs into it, it was almost undercut with the fun, comedy and action and just the banter and everything. But I like that they tried to do that. I thought they individualized and made the turtles like pretty unique, a little more distinguishable this time around from the first time. Like I actually felt they were characters and not just there.
Was it me, or did you think they changed the character designs just a little bit to make them look more
turtle-like?
Turtle-like?
Like I said, I've only seen the first one.
I've only seen the first one once as well,
and it's been a while now. I mean, that was like several months ago, but I really, it felt like they were sort of redesigned maybe a little bit. They felt a little more unique, and honestly, like knowing the actors that like do the voices of them, like Raphael is Thad Castle from Blue Mountain State, which Johnny and I love. Wait, where am I again?
Hold on.
Anyway, yeah. So I mean, like it kind of has the facial structure. I was like, I kind of saw Thad a little bit.
Like I remember whenever the first one came out, it was like everyone was like, oh my God, these turtles look disgusting. They look horrifying. And I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that the character the guy who's playing Michelangelo, like if you look at him in real life, he just kind of looks ugly. Like he does not have he has a face for radio essentially. So like
Ouch.
They translated his face to the Michelangelo like CG character, and it kind of shows like.
Well, there was that whole big gag when he's like, "See, it's not so bad." And he takes the mask off, and it's like he kind of looks weird without the ninja mask.
Yeah. But so okay, let's move on from the Turtles. One of our favorite characters by far in this movie were the addition of Bebop and Rocksteady.
Oh, okay. Though that was the high point of the movie.
Yeah.
I was like, if they screw this up, I'm gonna be really upset.
Now, let's be fair though. Like they are some of the dumbest characters in the movie, but they're dumb for a reason, and you enjoy the hell out of them.
They're dumb and they're fun. And it's like they were exactly how they were like when they're trying to break Shredder out at the beginning.
Yes.
You see them before they mutate or whatever. I thought that was like a really good translation. I was like, it was the same characters, except all of a sudden it's a rhinoceros and a warthog.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, they were so much fun. Like I got such a big kick out of the fart. I'm still 12, like 6 years old.
Yeah, like the movie,
when is it not okay anymore to be entertained by fart jokes? Whatever age that is
now.
Okay, whatever age that was, that it's like, okay, you can like fart jokes up to a certain point. I never grew up past that because the fart jokes were amazing.
Yeah.
Like the fact that they were just farting and like blowing it, like, throwing it in each other's faces and then going, my man. That was the best.
Which was their catchphrase throughout the entire movie.
I would say my man. And okay, the best gag of
Yes.
the movie
Was when they
when they first get mutated and they're kind of standing there like, oh man, check it out, I got a tail. Oh man, you got a mohawk. And then they pull open the front of their pants.
Because what are you gonna do when you turn into a mutant? You got to check your junk.
You're gonna check out your dick.
Yeah.
And you look down, and they both kind of look down and look at each other, and then go,
My man.
and then fist bump, and it's perfect. Here's the thing. That's the most PG-13 the movie got.
Yeah, well, there was
gag?
some cussing here and there, but I think that was
but
probably the most like
it was PG cussing.
Yeah,
I think the worst thing was
they
like
said shit once. I think in the movie,
but it was still very mild.
Yeah,
and it was the violence wasn't even super intense, and it was kind of tongue in cheek and cartoony and no blood. So.
Speaking of cartoony, like I remember there's a point in the movie where their entire job is just to go and get stuff for Shredder, which was like, oh my god, this is exactly how the cartoon would always play out. Because I remember how like it was like Bebop and Rocksteady would be like, Shredder would be like, all right, you need to go get this for me.
They're errand boys.
And then like there's a part in the movie where like they're just going into the jungle in a tank just to get some alien thing, and you're like, oh my god, this is the cartoon. This is awesome.
I love it when they find that big rock. They're like singing, "Whoa, what is it good for?" And then they see the rock. They're like, "We found it," and then they blow it up.
They just like, all right,
they're like, we found it, and then they shoot it, and this like ancient artifact just blows up, just so they can find some like mystical,
the alien thing,
artifact in there that is going to build the teleport dimensional whatever. Who gives a shit? Whatever that's going to let Krang enter into Earth.
I also appreciated how like Bebop, like they did not like. You would think like a movie like this, like because it's a modern movie, they would like get rid of the mohawk, get rid of the glasses,
the big purple mohawk,
the 80s
and basically
glasses.
Make him look like he's an 80s.
Yeah,
he looked like a villain from Short Circuit 2.
Yeah, they kept the whole 80s aesthetic was like still kept with both those characters, which I was like, I appreciate that so much. I was just like, great, like they didn't try to change the character. Like,
no, they embraced it, and they made it so much fun. And Will Arnett and Megan Fox, they did what they did. They were fine. I mean, they weren't.
Yeah, let's talk about the human characters. So a new addition to this movie was Casey Jones, who's played by Steve Amell, who's famous for playing Arrow on CW. Is one of my favorite shows.
That's why I didn't know him, because I've never seen Arrow. So I could tell that you and some of the people in the audience were pretty excited when he came on screen, and I was like, I don't know who that is.
He was probably my least favorite part of the movie. And even though I like Stephen Amell.
I hate that, because Casey Jones is like penultimate classic Ninja Turtles like character.
He's like the fifth turtle.
Yeah, he is. He's awesome. And I don't know, man. I hate to say it, but it's like he didn't need to be in the movie. It felt just like they're like, hey, we want to give the fans everything because they weren't happy with the first one. So let's give them everything they want to see. Let's do Bebop and Rocksteady. Let's do Krang. Let's make sure Shredder is in here a little bit more. And let's do Casey Jones.
But I felt like...
And it wasn't... Man, it just... Like, he didn't really do anything. He was just sort of there as an extra character.
They used him as a plot device, essentially. They were like, well, he's a police officer, which that was my other thing.
Really like
you know how like the last movie, like I said, like it almost felt like they felt apologetic about stuff. Like they didn't do the same like origin stories for some of the characters. It's like this movie, they kind of did the same thing with Casey Jones, because it's like he didn't resemble anything like the character in the... with the exception of like wearing a hockey mask at one point in the movie and having a hockey stick. That was about it.
Well, he made his faux rollerblade so he could like ice skate,
which didn't make any sense. I was like, wait, what? Like he has rollerblades
because hockey's his shtick.
Yeah, but
whatever. No, I mean like Casey Jones in the original Ninja Turtles, like from the '90s or whatever, that was way better.
Yeah, like he's well, I mean, Turtles in general are supposed to be a parody of like a lot of the dark comics that were coming out in the 80s, and a lot the fans, the Eastman and Lair, they were huge fans of Daredevil, so a lot of like there's a ton of parodies of Daredevil, like the hand that's in Daredevil is the foot in Ninja Turtles. Stick, the character, like if you watch the TV show, it's weird because I'm watching TV show now and you're like, wait, that's
Stick's like Splinter.
Stick is Splinter, and like there's so many like crossover ties to it. It's kind of weird.
And Casey Jones, what would you say he's like? Punisher?
He's supposed to be kind of like a Punisher character, but he's just kind of this joke because it's like he has all this sports gear and stuff, and he's supposed to.
And I love that they're like Jason Voorhees over here because it's like, well, when's that joke gonna drop?
He's not like was it Eliza Koteas in the first movie,
Elias
which he was
Koteas,
like he felt like the New York accident and was like, hey punk, what are you doing? In this movie, Stephen Amell is just playing the character like, I'm just so glad to be on a movie set. Like the whole time he's just like, this is awesome. Like that is just kind of how he plays the entire movie, and it's kind of off-putting for me because I'm like, on Arrow he's always very serious or tries to play very serious, and this he was just like, hey, come on, April O'Neil, let's go and stop this machine. Like
I'm not gonna lie, I would much have rather seen Mark Wahlberg play Casey Jones, because like the second he was a cop, he's like, hey guys, come on, we gotta do this, okay? We gotta fight these turtles, we gotta help them, they're gonna save us.
And he's like razzing on like Shredder and Bebop, and he's like, Shredder, what are you gonna do? You're a bad guy, but now you're no bad guy no more. You're stuck in a cage.
Look, you're a rhinoceros, okay? Everybody's trying to kill you. I just want to talk to you, okay?
God.
But I mean, I kept getting like wafts of Mark Wahlberg throughout that, and I was just like, that would have been so much more fun. It's like you brought Megan Fox from Transformers Universe. Let's just bring Mark Wahlberg over because it's like Michael Bay's already producing it. And it's like this is the most Michael Bay movie not made by Michael Bay.
I
think was shot and like stuff blowing up. And come on, when he's like when he's getting chased by Bebop and when he's getting chased by Rocksteady or whatever, he's like, all those cars are flying up in slow motion. He's like skating between them. I'm like, Michael Bay was like, you should do this shot.
Yeah.
I would say, put the camera here and just roll a take for me.
Now that it reminds me of like, there's that shot in, I think, the very first Transformers movie where
it's
like.
in every Transformers movie.
Well, no, but there's in the very first one where like Optimus Prime, they're like trying to get to the city, and then one of the Decepticons comes out, and it's just like, comes out and like blows up it. Like it was very similar to that shot,
right?
Like almost like,
I mean, his fingerprints were all over, but he's producing, just got to keep it in line and keep it with the look and everything. It's like, and it's also Paramount. Now, okay, here's the thing. Aside from Bebop and Rocksteady, one of my favorite things about the movie was like the second that the movie came up and the Paramount logo came on.
Yes.
And all the stars around the Paramount, like around the mountain for the Paramount logo, were damn ninja stars. That was awesome. The second that happened, I was like, this is already better than the first one.
Because some movies already
do that in the first one. I don't remember.
Nah, I don't think they did.
I don't know. Maybe they did, and I just totally wasn't paying attention. So if they did, and I'm an idiot, but it was awesome.
The last time I remember them doing something like that was did they do anything like that for Transformers? Where like it would transform or anything?
Well, no. When the stars went around, like every time they dipped and touched the water, you heard like like robotic sound design and noises. Like they did some.
They
other
made
things.
It sound
like it was.
I know,
like
but Mission Impossible did. The second one did like the thing where they flew around the mountain, and then he's like Ethan Hunt's climbing up the mountain.
Yeah.
But like that was kind of cool way to enter the movie, and you're just like, okay, I'm ready for this movie.
Yeah. Here's the
thing.
Turn
your brain off.
It was very self-aware. I think it knew exactly what it wanted to do, and for the most part, I think it delivered. Here's the thing. It's kind of a ridiculous movie. I can't say that it's particularly great.
Let's talk about just how dumb the movie was, though.
It's
for a
dumb.
Second.
It's really dumb. But in a kind of an endearing way, because it made me think every time I was rolling my eyes, like, wow, that was a terrible line of dialogue. Wow, this is ridiculous. Wow, are they just? Are they trying to act like idiots? And then I started to think about the cartoon, and I was like, this is the exact tone of the cartoon. So rather than try to make it more dark and adult, they were just like, let's bring this cartoon to life. And here's the thing, it's a really faithful adaptation.
Yeah.
I mean, anytime I started to feel like it was ridiculous, I felt like that it was justified. You know, when I kind of really stopped to think about it, it's like, no, this is Turtles. Think about it. These are talking ninja they're giant turtles. Why am I criticizing this? Yeah. It's not that it's above criticism, but it's of course it's ridiculous.
I mean, there's still a part of me that wishes the dialogue was the best, that the
They're
story
also teenagers,
the story
though.
wasn't
You gotta think really this
dumb.
is a movie about kids.
Yeah, but there was like, okay, when, for instance, one of the dumbest parts of the movie I thought was like Casey Jones having to track down Bebop and Rocksteady. And so early in the movie, Bebop and Rocksteady are at this
Hey
bar.
guys, I think I found him.
Yeah, and they're like, they're at this bar, and first off, they're like, how does he find them? Is like, well, oh, this is their favorite bar, looking at their police
And then he
dossier.
goes, they wouldn't be stupid enough to go back there. And I thought the next line that comes out of your mouth is going to be, yeah, they are. And he goes, yeah, they are.
And then so then they're sitting at their bar, and then the bartender's like, here's these phones, they're untrackable, or they're untraceable, which was like, okay. And so it's like, well, you sure they're untraceable? Like, yeah. And
I
then,
got a GPS, man.
And then
oh no, he starts.
And then Casey Jones comes in and he's like, I'm gonna break stuff because I'm Mark Wahlberg knockoff. And he just throws shit, and the bartender's like, okay, I'll stop. And there's like, you'll probably, you sell illegal phones for a living. You probably have a way to trace those phones, which made no sense at all to me.
No,
it was just plot convenience.
That was such a ridiculous, stupid scene. I half expected them to start playing Limp Bizkit's Break Stuff.
Yeah.
Or, whatever. And
Yeah.
don't ask me why I remember that song. We block it out. But anyway, the point is, I'm like, that would have not been out of place. I did love, speaking of stupid needle drops, I gotta admit, when they walked in that bar,
Yeah.
and they were playing Vanilla Ice,
Yes.
Ice Ice Baby, I was like, that's the best shout out ever to Secret of the Ooze, Ninja Turtles 2, the old one.
Well, you
Like, I
heard
thought that
about
was
when
really
they
funny.
premiered the movie, though, right? About how, like,
The Vanilla Ice came out and
Yeah,
played Ninja Rap.
yeah.
Go Ninja, go. Yeah,
That's
that was awesome.
Yeah, that was a good throwback. But so we talked about Bebop Rocksteady. We didn't talk about so they recast Shredder in this movie. What did you think of Shredder?
I thought he was good. He was kind of a little bitch, if I'm gonna be honest. Like, he was like the prototypical, mastermind bad guy breakout. But really it was all just so that we can introduce Krang, which was a little random. The whole like
The way how he got the
Krang
Krang thing.
teleported him, and all of a sudden he's like, "You work for me, okay?" And then
Yeah.
and then how that they clashed at the end. I felt like Shredder was. They tried to do a little more with him, but he didn't really do a whole lot. And I don't, unless I fell asleep, which I don't remember happening. Although, why am I tied to this chair?
Hey,
Anyway, this is a weird night. I
here,
don't
smell
really.
this.
Oh, okay. I don't remember. Hey, I don't remember ever seeing a big Shredder fight.
Yeah,
I
you're
mean,
right.
Like,
there wasn't.
he was mostly like it was Bebop and Rocksteady, and Shredder was just there, kind of barking orders, and then he would complain, and he was in his little leather leotard with his claws. And every once in a while, when he wanted to make a point, he'd put them on the table.
Yeah, I did kind of wish that his costume was purple, considering all the amount of colors there were in this movie. I don't know why, that was just me, but I was like, they just put him in completely black leather. I mean, I kind of because even the 90s cartoon made him in purple, but
I really liked it when he put his mask on. It was the same argument that everybody had about Batman, that all of a sudden you could see his eyes, but he had like the black face paint around his eyes, so you could see the. Yeah, did you not notice that?
I didn't notice
he
that.
He put the mask on and you could see sort of like eye holes, but you couldn't see skin. It's like all of
Yeah.
a sudden it looked like it to me, like it was painted, and I was like, when did he have time to paint around his eyes when he put that mask on? He just threw the mask on and all of a sudden it's like something inside the mask paints your eyes. It was the same thing as Batman.
I think they did a better job with Shredder because they toned him down. Like the first movie, they were like, he looked like Megatron's poop. Like he just had swords everywhere coming off of him.
He did. He was like the worst case of Transformer hemorrhoids ever.
Yeah, it was just swords all over. So he was like, oh, he shoots out swords now? Like, this is stupid.
Yeah.
But this movie, it was like, okay, they gave him the Shredder claw. He just looks more like a regular human. I wish he wore the mask more, I guess.
Yeah, he was kind of in this black, like, ninja leotard with, like, claws on his arms. But they didn't really give him much to do. Like, he was basically like, they break him out. He's this big mastermind. He's ordering people around, but there was no, like, fight. I never really felt threatened by him. And they kept saying, they went out of their way multiple times to say, he's the worst criminal in the world. He's the worst criminal and villain that this city's ever seen.
13 murders are on, like, Casey Jones, like, he's like, you had 13 murders on your, or you're committed to 13 murders or some shit. And you're like, okay. But, I mean, I think maybe it's just because they had the other villains and all the other stuff they wanted to do with the story that they were like, let's not focus so much on Shredder, just make him like the guy kind of pulling things around a little bit.
Which, as we're talking about it, I'm almost starting to convince myself that it was a little too loaded of a movie. Like, in a weird way, because it's like if they had done more Shredder, they would have scaled back Krang or Bebop and Rocksteady. I mean, like, I think it balanced things for the most part okay, but like Casey Jones and Shredder really kind of got knocked to the back seat. And Megan Fox and Will Arnett, they had their arc. They didn't really get a whole lot to do, but they were. I want to say necessary. You know, they weren't.
Yeah.
They weren't.
'Cause they have
It's not
to
like they didn't need to be there, but they didn't have a whole lot. It was really just about the Turtles and Bebop and Rocksteady, and then like a little bit of Krang.
Yeah. There was some, like Will Arnett's character with Vern. It was kind of, I thought that was like one of the dumbest storylines. It was like, oh, he
that
took
was
credit,
ridiculous.
took credit for taking care of Shredder. I'm
The
like,
Falcon thing. Oh, and when he's selling his breath, I was like, really? You couldn't think of a better joke?
yeah. I mean, it's just like, this guy's dumb.
It was also really funny that right before the movie, they played the trailer for Lego Batman.
Yes.
And every time I was like, it's Lego Batman.
I did like, well, there was one joke. There was a Arrested Development joke in there early on because he calls himself the Falcon, and then all the turtles are up in the Knicks game and they're going caw, caw, and I was like, hey, that's a little clever nod to to Arrested. What did you think of Krang? That was the one villain. Well, the one thing we haven't talked about yet is the main. He's kind of the main villain, but he's kind of like he's not till the very end of the movie.
Yeah, here's the thing. I actually thought they made him pretty cool. Like, you know, the look of the brain was neat. I thought the body was actually it kind of retained the look of, you know, what I remember from the cartoon back in the day, but without it being like a flesh-colored body with like yellow with red underwear.
Yeah.
You know, where it was just sort of ridiculous. They at least like they made it. It still kind of had the same proportions of like this big muscle-bound whatever body with like a tiny little head.
Yeah.
But you know, it was mechanical and robotic, and you know, I thought it worked.
It was played more comedic though too. It was like you know he was like stuff me back in. You know?
Stuff me back in, and like you know he had the tentacles so he could actually do stuff and everything. You know, like and like kind of, you know, grab things, you know, so it wasn't just like he was a brain with like these two little, like he had like kind of like he was like a squishy brain bubblegum octopus, and I even love that they called him Bubblicious at one point. He's like, he looks like a chewed up piece of gum with eyes.
But this movie felt like it really did not give a shit to explain to you how he got a hold of Krang, like where any of the stuff happens.
Like, what is Krang? Why he's this disembodied genius brain with a robot?
Yeah,
body.
it's like he's from another dimension. We don't really need to explain it that much. It was just like
Krang.
Yeah,
okay.
I felt like they were less worried about like telling any character's main backstories and just like, no, this is just the story we're telling. Just watch the movie, kids. Watch the movie.
And here's the thing: it's like, it's giant talking Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Let it go.
I mean,
it's like if you can accept that, it's like I can probably suspend my disbelief for anything you're going to throw at me at this point. Sure, there's a giant rhinoceros, and you know, I love how they tried to explain it. They're like, this ooze awakens ancient DNA, so it takes us back to our primal ancestors of what they used to be. And it's like, so they were a rhinoceros and a warthog. Okay, now.
But that was like enough. Like I was just like, okay, that's enough for me. I don't need to know anymore.
No, here's the thing: they didn't even need to explain that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, okay, well, at least they did that. Now we didn't talk about somebody that I really just can't stand that's in this movie. We did not talk about Tyler Perry yet.
I like Tyler Perry in this movie.
I didn't hate Tyler Perry in this movie. So he's got two movies that I don't want to throw something at the TV screen.
Gone Girl in this movie?
Yeah, Gone Girl in this. Everything else, he's an abomination to.
He just kind of embraced. But this movie, he plays Baxter Stockman, which in the comics he is a black guy, and then in the cartoons he was a white guy. And so this one that's kind of an amalgamation of both.
Yeah, and when I first heard he was in there, I was like, oh shit.
But you think about it,
but he was actually it was kind of funny. Like he was this big goofy nerdball, you know, like genius scientist
who just happens to be evil or happens to be a bad guy.
And you know the whole bit where he was flirting, like Megan Fox was flirting with him at the beginning. I thought that was kind of funny. Actually.
Yeah. Like and it wasn't. He wasn't bad. Like I just thought he embraced how goofy and clowny that character was portrayed, and like it was fine. I was like,
well, he does play Medea.
Yeah.
So you know, I mean, like really, like you know, we're dignity, we're gonna throw that out the window. He's
perfect person for the role.
Did fine.
Yeah. Because I'm hoping for like the sequel, if they do a third one, that they're gonna probably bring him back and like make him turn him into a fly or whatever, and then
I gotta admit, I thought he did a really good job. Actually, acting wise, he was probably one of the high points.
Yeah, because I thought Steve Amell was like the low point acting wise, and I thought
Arrow Boy,
yeah. Because he was just so much like, hey, what's going on, guys? And this guy was just being like, you know, he's like, I'm a scientist, and I do this, and I love science.
Maybe they should have brought in the Flash instead of Arrow.
Maybe. I don't think so. I don't know. I would probably cast someone more like Marky Mark. That would make. I'm telling you,
Mark Wahlberg should have been Casey Jones.
That would have made more sense to me. I could see that.
Hey guys, I'm from Boston. I'm really good at hockey. But here's the thing: it was supposed to be
like I didn't believe
he would sound too much like he's from Boston. They were all like New York pride.
Like, did you ever believe Steve Amell being like, "I'm from New York, guys"? I'm like, I don't believe that at all. Like. They could have casted anybody else to be.
Like, dude, you're from the Valley.
Yeah, exactly. It's like no.
You came from the mall. That's where you came from.
So what do you think they might do for a sequel?
For a third one, I think Baxter will have to go full fly mode. He'll become Brundlefly in the new one. Krang will come back. Shredder, with where they left it, he's going to come back. I thought that was kind of weak that just sort of
Like they froze him.
happened. We're just gonna talk about that.
Yeah,
yeah. He owed Jabba a debt. Krang he's like, Shredder's like, you betrayed me, and then Krang just freezes him and like throws him in the.
Because it would have been cool if it was like they had to fight Krang and fight Shredder at the very end, but instead they were like, nope, you're just fighting Krang.
Yeah.
But
it was. I mean, I don't know. It was a really quick resolution, but they knew that they needed to not overstay their welcome and let the movie end and get out.
Well, speaking of what, something we completely forgot to talk about was just the action sequence as a whole. Like, what did you think of the action in this movie?
I actually thought it was pretty fun. Like I said, that opening scene of them sliding down the building and everything, and then going through the sewers and getting the pizza and get the game. Like even just when they were doing something simple, that was cool. Was it the Brazil, when they dove out of the airplane?
The whole airplane
the
sequence.
airplane fight, and then the plane crashes into the river, and then the tank pops out of the river and starts shooting, and they're all trying to get that container or that artifact or whatever. That was the centerpiece.
That was kind of a lot like
it was so ridiculous, but it was awesome.
Yeah, it was kind of like the last movie where they did the whole thing on the mountain, which made no sense because it was supposed to be in New York, and they're like, "There's no fucking mountains near New York like that." That's just weird. But anyway, like that whole sequence when they're in Brazil and stuff, like that was great. I loved every part of that. That was good.
I thought for the most part all the action was actually pretty good, but they had a
car chase
scene.
Pretty rad. They had that airplane thing was ridiculous because it was like they're in an airplane. The first part of it is like the inner airplane.
And they point braked to the other airplane.
And then they had to they crashed that airplane and then they fight a tank. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was just off. It was off the charts. And then
but I felt like most of the movie was action sequences, and that's probably why it felt like it went so fast.
It was pretty nonstop. I mean, I would say that was probably the big standout action sequence, but I mean there were a lot of really cool moments. I'm trying to actually remember.
And I liked how they did the Technodrome too. It's like it was different because like a lot of people were always complaining more recently about how a lot of Hollywood movies, all they're doing is this pillar of light that shoots towards the sky, like Avengers and stuff. This one was a little different. It was like a ripple that opened up, and then like all these pieces started coming out.
Yeah, they were like, everything else is vertical. Let's go horizontal.
Yeah.
It's a cut in the sky, man.
Yeah, but when you're sitting there and you see the Technodrome eye, you're like, oh my God, they did it. Like they're making, like this is Ninja Turtles that I grew up with. Yeah,
that was really cool. Now, I thought they could have done a little more with the unique abilities of how the turtles fought and everything. Because honestly, like I'm trying to think, like there were moments, but we only got little bits of Donatello pole vaulting with his his staff.
Yeah.
Or there could have been more with the fact that they fought with all their unique weapons that individualize them in their fights a little bit more.
I didn't think I don't remember seeing Leonardo or Raphael using their weapons as much.
No, and here's the thing, like Leo didn't use his swords too much, but I started to think about that. I'm like I said, the violence was fairly light, so they didn't really use anything that would cut anybody.
Yeah. Whereas opposed to like the first movie, they tried to make the Foot Clan into like these terrorists, and like they didn't really look like ninjas at all. And then this movie, they went the other direction, like made everything look like ninjas, and like you never really see their faces, and like they're even in the plane sequence when they're like coming down. In any other movie, like someone would get like thrown out of a plane, like you would assume they're dead.
You saw every parachute open,
and they even said that they're even like they're just like, good thing you guys have parachutes, but the bad thing is, and then they all
see them all fly out, their parachutes open. It's like they went out of their way to be like, nobody died.
Yeah. Which I mean, again,
like,
that's
what I'm saying.
movie.
Like, it makes it way more kid friendly. Because I know that's a lot of things the parents complain about, which I don't like. Like, here's the thing: I grew up with all this stuff, so I want a movie that's for me, not so much for a kid.
Yeah.
But I get it that like parents are taking their kids and they want them to enjoy, and they're like, oh, this is too violent. They're swearing too much. It's like the sexual content is like too heavy. It's like, this is, for a PG-13 movie, it's pretty damn kid friendly.
Yeah.
But it's good. I mean, it's fun, and like it's stupid, but it's fun.
Yeah. So let's kind of start wrapping up. But the one thing I want to talk about is, this movie kind of signals how we're starting to get closer and closer to seeing 90s remakes of movies rather than just like the 80s with the Transformers. Because now we're going to be getting Ghostbusters. Well, it's technically still 80s, but we're going to get a Ghostbusters remake. We're getting an Independence Day remake, and then down the line with kids stuff, we're getting a Power Rangers remake.
Yeah.
And they're it's kind of weird now.
Well, nostalgia is like this, rolling wave that keeps moving forward. So
it's getting weird for me because it's like I think for your generation, you're just a little bit older than me. Like you experienced more of the 80s cartoons. I was a little more into the 90s.
By the time
80s,
Power
90s
Rangers
stuff.
came out, I know like you and a lot of people like I know like they're a little bit younger than me like really love Power Rangers. I missed that boat.
Yeah.
That fandom. That by the time they came out, I was like, I saw Power Rangers and I tried to watch. I was like, this is dumb.
Yeah.
And I changed the channel. I was like, I'm not into this at all. But
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are. That was just, it was, I think that was a few generations after me.
Yeah, and I feel like it's just weird because I feel like everybody who was like a Transformers fan or like a Thundercats or whatever, they're now.
Yeah, Where's My Thundercats movie? Seriously.
That's what we need is Thundercats movie.
Hell, I'd take GoBots.
I'll do it. I'll just take that. That'll be fine.
I got really excited that I heard, they're bringing all this other stuff back, and I heard that they're finally going to do something about Mask. You know? I'm like, dude, I would always champion it because it was like on right, I think before Transformers back in the day. Like I loved Mask. Mask was basically G.I. Joe and Transformers mashed up. Yeah. It was soldiers piloting machines that shifted into different machines. Yeah. So
I don't know. I think it's funny because I think a lot of people are really prone to bitching about like, oh, they're destroying my childhood. But I'm like, part of me now, it's like, I'm actually kind of excited I'm excited they're remaking some of this stuff because it's like now my kids will be able to like watch some of the stuff that I enjoy, like Ninja Turtles or Ghostbusters or whatever, and still like have some fond memories of it. Like I did, it's kind of cool. So. Oh,
definitely. Well, you real quick, you asked me what I thought was going to happen in the next sequel. Like, where do you think it's going to go?
I think they're going to so they teased Baxter Stockman, so they'll probably do that. I hope they expand Casey Jones' role a little bit more instead of just like a dude with a hockey mask and a stick. Like actually give him more of a costume or something like that. Maybe give him an arc with April.
Well, clearly him and April are going to be hooking up in the next
one.
They
didn't even kiss in this movie.
No, but she's like.
So what are you doing later?
Like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I got a hockey game. You come watch. She's like, I'll kick your butt. And he's like, I bet you would. And I'm like, you two need a room.
Yeah, yeah. But it was like they never did anything. But you're like they're gonna do something because that's what those characters do. Yeah. But I think that'll be the next one. They'll probably do Baxter Stockman for sure, and then maybe bring Krang back or something like that. It'll be kind of cool.
See more of the Dimension other Ninja Turtle villains you think, or you think they're just gonna stick in that wheelhouse of these, or do you think they're gonna add any other new ones? Because I remember people complain. Like I remember watching a thing about like how people who saw Ninja Turtles 3 were really hoping for things like this, like Krang and Bebop and Rocksteady. Because and they have to bring Bebop and Rocksteady back.
Yes,
if they don't, no ticket.
Yeah, but like in the the original sequel they're the second Ninja Turtles movie they did like I don't even remember Tokar and Razor, which were like a kind of like a Bebop and Rocksteady type characters, but they weren't that.
Yeah, but not.
But not, and so it's like I feel like they're gonna try to do everything that they should have done way back, like Leatherface or is it Leatherhead or Leatherhead, right?
Leatherhead, yeah.
Leatherhead, Slash. I don't know. I think they'll do more, so I'm excited. Yeah. I would give this movie like a thumbs up. Like go see it with your kids or whatever. Yeah, like out of it's dumb. You have to turn your brain off to watch this movie.
Like out of a 5-star rating, what would you do?
If it was a 5-star rating, but it was specifically for kids, I would give it like a 4. But for kids, now for an adult, like maybe like a 2 or a 3 for an adult movie.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna settle at 3.
Yeah.
Because anytime I'm thinking like go lower or go higher, I'm just like I'm just gonna settle at 3. Yeah. It was fun. I enjoyed it. I didn't like love it by any stretch, but I did enjoy it.
If you love the Turtles cartoon, you'll like this movie.
Yeah. And it's definitely better than the first one.
Yes.
Or the last one.
Because I hated the first one. I enjoyed this one a lot. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Well, for Donnie Movie Time, I'm your host, Donnie Movie Time,
and I'm Toby. Why the fuck am I still tied to this chair?
Oh shoot, I'm out of tranks. I'll have to go get more. Toby, you just stay there, okay? Stay there. Stay there. I'll be right back.
This is weird.
I'll be right back.
Help.
I'll be right back, Toby.
Don't leave me in here. Donnie!
Gonna rock the town without being seen. Have you ever seen a turtle get down? Slamming and jamming to the new swing sound. Yeah, everybody